another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
Hello, I'm the being who is sometimes called Normal69, and as the game stable version got refreshed, I slowly begin to make new units for the new campaign, which has strategic AI refresh and all the nice things. There were a lot of bug fixes, so now the developers work as in the good old times, so they are actually helpful and they are working together with the players and the reports. So the starting units are really simple, so it would be enough if a marauder would be the sacrifice a lamb tonight, at least for them, because they are simply just silos, buildings, and they seem to be pretty effective using medium missiles and medium torpedoes. Now this little wooden marauder misses her left side, and there are the normal sized torpedoes incoming. I'm so accustomed now to the small missiles and small torpedoes that these would be a rare sight in my playthrough, but actually those missiles were pretty quick and they were the bang for the buck I played for them. So these are the little basic bunkers I usually try to form the first faction, the DVG. It's not really complicated. Let me see what we have here, and of course maybe let you see what we have here. Just get them together if I can, please. Sadly, my brain is not functioning as well as an average day, but you are promising viewers, so I think you could forgive me for this. So we have two kinds of simple stone silos here. One of them is missile, one of them is torpedo. And this small thing is a passive radar equipped medium anti-torpedo silo, which is on a turret. Please tell me if you would use a better composition than this. Maybe it would need a ballast tank, now as I see, but we will see. They were pretty effective, and I actually could line them up in 2 rows with the ejectors. So from the inside, this little thing, I wouldn't press the wrong button, has some little RTGs, some little batteries, really simple AI, which doesn't do anything, just has an inter-vehicle transmitter as every of my units usually has, and an anti-missile cannon controller which turns that turret above towards the incoming enemy torpedoes. I don't really know why I have an AI wireless transmitter on it. Oh, of course, because of the passive sonar. So it can be detected by wireless. And as I see, I try to be perfectly effective here. Small material container, a well-armored ammo storage, also a small one, because as you can see on the right side, the ammo storage boxes got expanded. compared to the old version of the game, so we have huge ammo compatibility in a small place, and if I read it right just today, they have less explosive force, so maybe this heavy armor won't be needed anymore. And we have some ammo makers here, as you can see, because ammo regeneration is not a thing anymore, so we need to make our own ammo. And that's it, so it generates a bit ammo and power, and as all of my units are on the same resource group, as always they are helping each other, and they have, as you've seen, repair tentacles. And the composition, oh, and the last thing, I press V on it, and it shows that it's around 31,000 materials, and it not always, as you can see here, it's 28,000 materials plus this in containers, but that's not enough. So it's funny in the V menu, maybe because it's already made some ammo, but that is in a separate line, so I'm not satisfied fully, but it just works, and that is good enough. And there is a chair for easier teleportation and the weapon controller outside, so it shows me that it's 38,000 materials, which is in the load menu is actually 32, and 32, both of them. So we have a little, how do you English people say it? Okay, it's not correct. Let's just say that it has two levels: material container level, more ammo container in two groups, some ammo makers, just like somewhere here. We have some more ammo makers, I promise, and also more energy, because they have other units to get energy later. It's a wireless looper, and it should have ES. It has an intravehicle transmitter, some special targeting, which I discovered that oh yes, it doesn't need special targeting, I always forgot. It's just an automatic missile, I don't even need this part. I will remove it later. And of course it's controlling the missile controller, which is, oh, and just one more thing, the enemy altitude should be negative infinity to 20 meter, because it's a torpedo launcher, so it shouldn't shoot at aerial targets while consume the ammo. These kind of missile and torpedo weapons aren't so cheap, and it has a simple composition: explosive, EMP, some sonar target simulator to confuse enemy torpedoes, hopefully too, ballast tanks, APN guidance, internal space used for fuel, and that's it. I even installed some variations, so on this side it's full explosive, two of them, and on this side it contains fragmentation instead of EMP. Nothing more is here to see. I just made this that it could be easily exchanged to a huge missile or two, if the need arises. But I won't make one of them like that, because why do I need huge missiles? What are you? You are torpedo too, so you should be a missile one, yeah? Indeed so. Yeah, and of course it has just mini metal armor with stone coating, with pleasing decorations around, and a really nice smiley face And the missiles are going for fuel too, as I see. Explosive EMP, the same thing. Signal processors, so they perhaps won't be so easily decoyed away from the enemies. Ballast tanks, one turn, of course, as in the other APN guidance, almost the same. They just leave a shorter time because torpedo propeller gives you more lifetime. Great. So these were the uncomplicated ones, as you could see in combat. Okay, this unit is the Confucius, who is an imaginary old Greek philosophist I made up. And it had some problems, but luckily Beastman helped me to think it over, and after copying over working AI settings from another unit, it seems to be working, so it was a safe glitch. Essentially, it was like point and maintain distance at 2 kilometers away, but it always tried to go forward instead of going backwards. But now it's fixed and it's fine. So I've just read on this part of the video to show it off as a starter unit. It's an airship. It has 2 kilometers range, firing range or combat range. But if the enemy gets closer, then 1600 kilometers, it will go underwater and transforms into a submarine. And I just re-show you the parts. So it has a forward pointing cannon with some funny shells, because I don't like to use meta and like to fool around and try things. So it has a squash head which can destroy chunks of armor, as you can see by a shockwave, and a shape charge secondary and some frag, so it's a nice ointment to the skin of the enemy. And it's a good thing because it was remembering before the railgun settings, but not right now. It's 800. Maybe I haven't set up the values inside here. So it's a low consumption railgun, and with 800 rail draw it can go really fast, I think. Oh, if it wasn't be a little bit bigger caliber, let me see, it's 225. Okay, I think it's remembering the last things set up. So just this 25, much slower now, and it packs a really nice punch. Beside that, I have two huge decoys, one for radar and one for sonar, because it's supposed to protect other units. It has a directional sonar because it's always pointing at the enemy, and zero powered or just one powered lamps against infrared missiles, because it's supposed to blind them. But I haven't put on any. Oh, but I did. These are the munition warners, so it should blind the enemy. I begin to like this H shape, because then I could put the strafe and turn engines inside. And as you can see, all the propellers are named to prop, and all the jets are named to jet by Shift N. It's just because I have a setting just inside the bowels of the unit, that if I'm in the air with a little leeway to get the transition from underwater to the air and back fine, so it activates and deactivates. If I go inside here, the different kinds of propulsion, I named all the propellers and jets accordingly. So if you use these propulsion components, you can see in the search button there is the jet. So 31 jets controlled by this, and these are the propeller ones. And over here you have prop, and 34 propellers are controlled by this. I made this so it doesn't consume so much energy as before. These are the activators and deactivators for the ammo processors, and these are the activators and deactivators for the boilers if my batteries goes down. Then I set the target pressure in the boilers to 10,000, I think. And just a side note, you need to set up this auto-regulate. It seems to be working only by that if you want to do the same thing. For the automatic altitude changes, sadly I had to deactivate the hover PID to 0 gain. It's a must because otherwise the unit still, or the AI still tries to control the altitude, which I don't want, because here I have, and thank you Beastman again, here I have a general purpose PID controller, which I set up altitude above terrain or waves, and with a fake set point it floats at 60 meters above the sea level or the terrain level. For this to work, you need 3 PIDs. One of them, if there is an enemy nearby or nearer than 1600 meters in my case, then I should set, let me just seek it out, the little red dot, the general purpose PID, set fake point to -90, so it goes down to submarine mode. And here, if there is no enemy in that range, it should transform to an airship and go up to 60 above water or terrain, and both of them on priority 1. And the third one, which is turned to look down, this PID, this is setting the distance to 55 above water or terrain. Why I have done this? Because this ACB senses the distance from the nearest object. And why I set up its range from 8 meters to 50 meters? Because I want it to keep distance from the terrain, or really anything, by 50 meters. So if it senses that something in the way, then it set that fake PID to 50 meters, so it will go up. For example, if it's underwater and senses below the terrain itself, let's say 40 meters below, then it set this fake point to 50. The unit began to rise, but after it goes up further away from the sea bottom than 50 meters, this PID deactivates. And this is important, so it has a higher priority than the others, because it always should avoid terrain, be it a seabed or an island or a mountain. And the thing is why I set this up to 8, it's because if I lower it, it detects the unit's own body. So when you build a thing like this, you need to set this up so it shouldn't detect its own body, and you get something similar to this. Okay, what else is to show here? Maybe my targeting settings. And the targeting setting is here and here. So, aim point selection, 60 seconds. Why have I done this? The theory behind this is that if I shoot at the enemy random block, or rather a random block is targeted by me inside the enemy, if it's outside on the surface, it will be killed quickly. It's not a worthy target, I must say. But if it's inside the enemy, then I will be shooting for a long time at the same point of the enemy. That way I could really ramp up some meaningful damage. So that's why I'm setting this aim point selection around 60 or maybe 30. Other thing is target prioritization card. This is also a thing I've read somewhere, and I usually set up the altitude and the speed to 0. I'm not interested in the speed or the altitude, just in the range. If it's near me, I should shoot at it. If it's far away than other enemy units, then it could wait. And from a habit, I set to maximum when the enemy unit has a player on it, just because who knows, wherever I will use this unit, maybe I'll make a custom campaign and I want to punish player. Okay, and this thing that I set the value per block to a negative value, it really has an interesting effect which I haven't proved, but it seemed to work. Because, you know, now my prioritization is weights towards weapons, propulsion, engines. And it's maybe true, I don't know, but anything on spin blocks like turrets and things, handled perhaps by the game as a separate enemy unit. So, what has the highest priority? Of course, a turret has only weapon components on it, so maybe they get targeted, and this kind of units, for me at least, seems to pop a lot of turrets, a lot of paddles and things in spin blocks and turret blocks, so I keep trying for it. Would this work or not? Okay, this unit has some other funny things inside, just like a medium gantry, medium missile, radar buoy. Why do you have a radar buoy on? It should be a sonar buoy, because you are shooting downwards. Man, please be sane. And it's set up to fire only if there are underwater targets present. And I need a local weapon controller instead of an ACB, so the one turn will take effect. Okay. And the other side of it, we should have a radar buoy. Okay. It's fine. Set up the same way. Fire if there are aerial targets are present. Okay, anything more? On the sides, I use this totally allow technique, which makes it possible to put in inside propulsion if you have the clearance for it, and we have it. So people who are getting angry because daddy blades could be integrated inside the unit, and I try to prepare for that, so I install these little ducts here for later, still could wonder about this setup when you can use propellers, and of course this propeller buried inside and having the clearance can totally drive the unit forward and backwards too. So it's fun. And before I forgot, I have some little presents over here. Just some remote controlled telephone pole small missiles to spread confusion and dash around with reinforcement. I like to use them because they seem to be really effective, especially in greater numbers, to confuse the enemy LAM systems, and the LAMs try to fire on a myriad small torp size, which I call them because it has propellers and thrusters too. So the LAMs are firing on this, letting through more serious orders. I think that's this unit. Alright. The next unit is called Heavy Air. It's a medium vehicle with better, really better protection around. I think, I hope, I feel. So it's almost the same age shape. I just tried to place better and bigger propellers and jets around here. More propellers, as it is the same, it goes the same way just like the other Confuses over there. I try to use here big propulsion, and there's nothing glitchy inside. And we have this subunit over it, which can turn around fully. And this is my solid shield TM, which consumes less material than electric shield. As you can see, it's a simple, just 2 layers of alloy beams, uplick, and behind it a heavy armor. It can survive the direct pounding from the fierce cannon, so I think it worth the price. And inside we have 5 groups of little missiles remote controlled as before, just the same composition. So the main one is this, weight explosive, EMP, and some more explosive for fancies, and some decoys. And these are the same thing with a tamper head and more EMP. And these ones has fragmentation instead of EMP, so we get a nice little damage distribution. Let's switch off P. So these are 200mm cannons with 2000 rail draw, and because I don't like to follow meta, squash head, high explosive, secondary shape charge, some flak, and time fuse. So this is supposed to be a light sharing shell, because the flak will share away the protection and the more damageable parts around. Meanwhile, it gets a nice workout for the insides by the shape charge, and as I read, the squash head doesn't account, I think, the... oh no, that is the other one. So this is going through armor mainly and shears the surface by flak. The other shell is more thick. It has a 8000 rail draw. It's really good because it remembers the settings. So this is a hollow point head, and I think this is the one. Yes, it ignores armor sucking and not reduced by angled armor. And with a solid warhead at some EMP, it breaks the armor and sends out some nice little EMP. The insides, I think, simple and symmetrical. So we have the missile launcher here, almost symmetrical cannons. The right one just has more recoil dampening and railgun chargers, but it's really not a big deal to Tetris this together. I just put down these autoloaders and the intakes. There are no ammo racks. As you can see, the fire rate is not so bad without, let me just say, ammo clips, because it fires in every 4 seconds, and this one fires in every maybe 2 seconds. Not too bad. A lot of ammo generation, really lot of ammo. And of course, because this is supposed to be a almost full-time submarine, it has sonar target simulators shoot to the sides, so it may be a bit better. And of course, it could be automated control block activated, so if there's an enemy anywhere, then it should fire all the weapons but only 2 away. So just one block control, that is the solution for that. We have a little cockpit with a teleporter under it. So this has the rear cockpit. We could see outside. These are the steam boilers, just made like this, so I need 2 steam piping, and it doesn't seem to be possible to leave out steam piping. Yes, I think so. So we have a lot of ammo here, a huge amount of resource compatibility, sorry. And this AI can control the missiles because they had a really long lifetime. So I thought it's better to be prepared, and this AI controls all the other things. And let me show you my targeting. That I target a block for 30 seconds in the aim point selection, because if it's easy to destroy, it would be a quick work. Mainly because it should be somewhere along the enemy surface. And if it's somewhere inside in a hard to reach place, then this long targeting time ensures that I will shoot a hole through the enemy, pounding the same part of it. At least this is the theory behind it. And I just inverted this and set this to 0, and of course all of my units like to shoot at the unit where the player is, just for fancies. Who knows when would we need it. And here, when I finishing the unit, there was a little hole here, so I saw at Latrix that he made a really tiny guns, and these ones are those kind. And it's just 36mm shells, but it fires, as you can see, 345 rounds per minute. So it's really quick, and it's using gunpowder because it seemed to me that they are cheap. They are supposed to be anti-air thingies, but I never know what they will shoot at. This unit don't have a separate AI for anti-air, it was just an afterthought. And I try to be clever here, which haven't worked. Oh, just a moment, please. So I try to be clever here, and it may or may not work, I don't really know yet. But here we have a passive sonar, just for detection, and it can look out to all the sides. I don't think it's such a great idea to make a hole in the perfect armor, so I will see. In the unit down there, I think there is everything. You've already seen almost the same type of construction, just of different composition. as you already seen it. It has a solid metal cube which houses the AI and the most precious part, the jewels, the RTGs, which has almost an all-around epic except on the bottom, and some side compartments. But you've already seen it on the Confucius. Another thing which is a plus, this little detection satellite above it. It has an active radar gimbal and radar, so it hopefully will detect above water things. Let us see what it does in combat. Maybe I should put in some more durable enemy. I think the harlot would be perfect in it. So it has a circling behavior. So it goes down, drops the decoys, and tries to circle the enemy, meanwhile always turning the big protection towards it. It should go lower, and it goes slowly down, because the armor should be balanced really well. I filled it a lot because it needs the outer coating. Oh, and it got hit. Got a lot of damage there. And the light alloy, which is resistant to detection, is too buoyant, so I needed to mix in metal, and to don't flip it upside down, I needed to distribute those things carefully. As you can see, it provides a continual stream of small missiles, meanwhile shooting sporadically at the enemy. So let's see how the harlot goes. I hope it won't be a long battle. There are other torpedoes incoming. So if the harlot is alright when I reach it, yes. It shows me that it's maybe 300,000 resource cost. It totally don't know where to shoot. And of course all the nice heat, hash, EMP damage it gets inside will break those precious ring shields, which makes little holes in the armor where the flak damage can go in, saying hi to the steam components and all. And as you can see, this can go pretty brutal for poor cram ship. I don't put it in because it has so effective armament. Can you see? There goes one shield. And I think it's already dead. Turrets are already popping. So it's just because it has a really effective armor, and it was not a long time my units murdered it. Of course, if I was right, it's only around 300,000 materials. Meanwhile, mine units cost how much? Yes, the heavy air is the heavyweight here, but I think without him this battle could be won. I just wanted to show off my unit. And as you can see, everything underwater is returning to the air, because if the theory is, I can say it again, your units in peacetime will go by this speed, and in combat only they will go underwater. So you get actually fast units in the strategy map, you know them. Meanwhile, getting the submarine mode in combat, which is safe and we like to be safe because my faction don't use no shields, no lamps at all, because I consider that a waste of energy and materials too. There is another unit which I won't explain a lot because it's a more complicated multi-part one, and I don't think it's really finished. I just tested on it a lot of unnecessary weapon system like cram mortars, huge missiles, small cannons, big cannons, a lot of small missiles, and more crams, and a lot of decoys. So it's just around 900,000 materials. It's really cheap, but it don't have meaningful upkeep cost except for the ammo making, of course. It seems to be a little shaky and a little uneven, but it works alright, except against lasers. So I'm definitely not finished with this. Until we have armored glass, I tried different solutions to provide cockpits without glass to shoot my poor avatar. And for a bonus unit, just for 37,000 materials, this is my collector fortress, which only for collecting resources. It's a nice little tower. This R sign I think will change, and I tried to pimp up a bit this one, but it's really only collection, and inside it has some repair capabilities and dock holders, just to I can spawn in and repair units more easy. And we have here a little wireless camera which goes around providing the scanning effect inside on the video screen. So that's it. I think we can now kill them all, because that would be a nice finish. So other people advised me on the Discord that this unit called a Candela would be a very good enemy, and it is because it's quick, has a lot of lasers, so my big slow units couldn't follow it very well. Oh, it even has shields and nice glass decorations. So I think this would be a perfect fit of killing all of my units. This unit is my current arch enemy because I cannot fight it, I think so. And it's just a bit over 1 million materials, so it's cheap according to the new resource amounts. Let me see. Yes, and the game already lags out a lot, and my unit will slowly die. Before it can turn towards the enemy, it tries to fight, but I think the Candela will kill it. But it behaves a bit strangely. I haven't used any. Okay, maybe the Candela's captain is drunk, or isn't prepared as much as it was before the stable release came. So maybe it won't be my arch enemy anymore, perhaps. How are you? Yes, it is shooting somewhere. I don't think it has real detection. And now it's shooting itself. Very good. It's committing seppuku, I think. And now we have a few thousand, especially the big missiles, which are missing, but maybe later I will hit them, shoot them. So I don't really know what happened with this poor Kandala, but I'm happy with its demise. Oh, I just looked up at the damage numbers on the upright corner. Yes, we are making a small amount of damage, perhaps a bit. And of course, everything is going for the same spot, so I don't think this part would be together, even as it has heavy armor. So well, I thought that I will be killed by this fast-moving laser vehicle, but somehow it decided to dip down into the ocean. And look at what is in the bottom. Strange. But I think our KOTL guys will fix it shortly. They are building really beautiful and according to the fashion specifications. And I must say that they are really patient people to build such beautiful things in such a short notice. Maybe it's too heavy for Matter 2019 physics. I don't think so. It's nicely gutted now. Not even one big missile had hit, so I definitely need to rework that big unit up there. And how are we? Everybody is at 100% health, really good. I like to be at 100% health. And now he's below 18 and sinking. You don't say. Why are you sinking? Don't be so lazy. So with this, I think my game will lag out as this unit will decompose. And thank you for viewing this little video. Oh, and there are the mortars incoming and they just disappeared. Just because. Okay. Maybe there's a lot of cannon shells in the air beside the lava. So this was Normal 69. Please put your thumb up where I think it should go, and have a nice day. Bye bye.